Back in the Bird tonight, D-backs wrapping up this three-game visit to Pittsburgh with a different look to the lineup this evening, looking to get this offense going. Some new faces in new places. And on the mound, looking to Brandon McCarthy. Can he duplicate one of his best outings as a D-back? That was his previous start on this road trip in San Diego. Arizona Diamondbacks baseball is brought to you by Bluebell Ice Cream. Greetings from PNC Park. Welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthume and Bob Brenly along the way. The series finale here in Pittsburgh. The Diamondbacks and the Pirates. All-Star game coming up July 15th, only on Fox. And we are now, Bob, under 5 hours to go before the polls close for the All-Star votes.
Well, and hopefully Paul Goldschmidt has a commanding enough lead to make it stand up for the next 5 hours. It's been quite a trek for Goldie, though, in the All-Star balloting. A lot of people didn't know who Paul Goldschmidt was when it began. I'd like to think that a lot of people, as they went to fill out their ballots, started to pay attention, look at the numbers, look at what Goldie's been doing this season, and certainly a huge tip of the cap to Diamondbacks fans, not only in Arizona but all over the country, for the way they turned out to vote for America's first baseman, Paul Goldschmidt.
You can see Goldie over the course of the weeks, now 1 month in here, moving up the charts, passing Adrian Gonzalez and taking over the lead. And then once he got the lead, he got up about 700,000 votes on Gonzalez. But suddenly a lot of Milwaukee Brewers making a late surge, and there's Mark Reynolds, but he's a million votes behind.
Well, he's got a long way to go to catch up. Never count out those Brewer fans, though. But, boy, are we excited for Goldie and hope he gets that opportunity to start at first base, as he well should.
So tonight is your last chance. Voting ends tonight. You are T-minus 5 hours before the ballots close for the All-Star game July 15th at Target Field in Minneapolis, only on Fox. Tonight here at PNC Park, it's Van Swirly, the Vanimal for the Pirates, and Brandon McCarthy for the D-backs. D-backs baseball on Fox Sports Arizona. Berthume, Bob Brenly, and Todd Walsh along the way. Brandon McCarthy and the Diamondbacks set for the series finale against the Pittsburgh Pirates here before it's on a plane after the ball game tonight. And then down to Atlanta for 3 against the Braves on 4th of July weekend. Diamondbacks tonight trying to avoid their first sweep here at PNC since September of 2010. On the other hand, the Pirates have not swept any series this year. Tonight would be their first. So Kurt Gibson, as we talked about earlier, with a lineup shakeup tonight, trying to find a way to spark this struggling offense. D-backs have scored 1 or 2 runs in 6 of their last 8 games. Gregory Polanco, the 22-year-old rookie sensation, coming off a big night last night. A walk, a double, a homer. He drove in 2. He scored twice. He's got 3 hits and 5 at-bats in the series, and he has been something to see. They love him here in Pittsburgh.
Other than that, he hasn't done much.
We'll get another look at him on the mound for the Pirates. Vance Worley, the Vanimal, 2-0 in 3 starts for the Pirates this season. Had shoulder and elbow issues, was in the minor leagues, but is up here taking the rotation spot of the injured Francisco Liriano and has pitched well. Here's his pitching coach, Ray Searich.
He's been doing really good. Thank God he's healthy. And Jim Benedict did a great job with his mechanics down in the minor leagues to get him back to where he was before he got hurt. That was the biggest thing because he was trying to prevent that same injury to happening. And now that he's over that speed bump, all he has to do is go out and pitch and execute.
He's our Arizona Ford starting pitcher. The numbers on the man known as Vanimal, the former Philly and Minnesota Twin.
Yeah, he's 2-0 on the season. Could very easily be 3-0. He went 7 innings, gave up 5 hits in a shutout against the Miami Marlins earlier this year, but the bullpen blew the save, so he came away with a no decision. 2-0 in his other 2 starts. He's pitched extremely well, throws 3 different fastballs, a 4-seamer, a sinker, and a cutter. Will mix in an occasional breaking ball and occasional changeup.
Yeah, Worley, after he was acquired by the Pirates from Minnesota in the last week of March, just before the regular season began, opened up with their AAA affiliate in Indianapolis, made 7 starts there, win 3-2, and he's done a good job up here so far. Doesn't have a big fastball, but he's got kind of a funny half slider, half cutter.
That's a little deceiving. I mean, this is a guy, as a 23-year-old, went 11-3 in 21 starts for the Phillies. Looked like he was on his way to being a top-of-the-rotation guy, but has struggled since then until landing here in Pittsburgh. In his 3 starts, he's been really good for him.
Ender Inciarte takes strike 1. DJ Rayburn, the plate umpire tonight. Ender at 228 on the year. And you'll remember he fouled that pitch off his foot or ankle last night and looked to be in a lot of pain. But I asked him before the ball game today, and he said good to go. But then you ask these guys, how's this feel? How's that feel? They always kind of look away, give you the thumbs up, and say they're fine.
Yeah, he took a bad one off that back foot. I saw him in the hotel lobby this morning. He was limping around pretty badly, but came to the ballpark early, got some treatments, and here he is at the top of the order again.
Worley just missed there, and it's 1-2 on Inciarte, who's got 1 hit in 10 at-bats in the series. Ender was 0 for 5 last night. That snapped a 7-game hit streak. Sun and shadows on a perfect night here in Pittsburgh. It is just beautiful. Right back to the mound. This is the lineup for Kirk Gibson, and as we mentioned, Bob, some new faces and new places trying to shake things up.
Yeah, trying to shake it up a little bit. Ender Inciarte at the top. David Peralta has 11 multi-hit games this season. He'll be batting second tonight. Paul Goldschmidt batting third. Miguel Montero in the 4 spot. Aaron Hill at second base batting 5th. Nick Evans at third base. Roger Kieschnick out in right field. Didi Gregorius at shortstop, and right-hander Brandon McCarthy on the mound for the D-backs.
And here is David Peralta in the 2-hole tonight at .310 on the year, couple of home runs. And he was just firing batting practice pitches off that right field wall out there. There's the strike. An absolutely beautiful summer night here. 4th of July weekend supposed to be gorgeous. We fought really oppressive heat and humidity the first 2 bowl games of this series, but tonight 77 and just gorgeous.
Yeah, for Vance Worley, we talked about the cut fastball, the sinker, mixing an occasional slider, but he's got a little bit of a crossfire action, very much similar to Addison Reed. He steps to the third base side of the mound and kind of throws back across his body, adding to the deception.
Vance Worley, just one of 3 starting pitchers who have come up from AAA and really done a good job filling in some holes in Pittsburgh's rotation. We saw Jeff Locke on Tuesday. Worley tonight. They've had Brandon Compton up here as well. And the Pirates have had some issues. They saw Wandy Rodriguez go down with a bad knee before he was released. Garrett Cole is on the DL with shoulder fatigue. Francisco Liriano on the DL, strained left oblique. Liriano was out here earlier this week throwing a simulated game. Rehab assignment could be next. Called strike 3. 2 down in the first. Here comes Goldie. Here is last year's NL MVP, Andrew McCutchen.
I mean, he was a finalist in MVP voting for a reason last year, and he's a guy who can hit with power all parts of the field. That's what he's there for. He's a very strong guy, and he brings a lot to the team, especially with his bat, and his defense is pretty good as well. So he's really good player, and hopefully it just doesn't get too hot against us.
Well, he's had a pretty good series so far.
Yeah, finally bumped up against a team that's willing to pitch to him. But a lot of the situations have been just like this: 2 outs, nobody on, or leading off an inning with nobody on. And the Pirates have challenged it more than a lot of pitching staffs we've seen.
Only 3rd in the National League in RBIs, behind only Giancarlo Stanton and Justin Morneau, and 4th in OPS, right behind Andrew McCutchen. 1 and 2.
Well, he saw 5 strikes in the ball game last night of his 11 pitches. He had 3 hits, 1 foul ball, and put 1 in play for an out.
And remarkably didn't see a single pitch to hit in the 3-game set at San Diego, where he walked 7 times, tying a D-backs series record. Here, though, he's done nothing but hit. 5 for 7 through the first 2 games. Called strike 3. DJ Rayburn rings him up. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Van Swirly, just underway in Pittsburgh. A 3-game series trying not to be cast away here in Pittsburgh against these Pirates, who 6 weeks ago were 8 games under 500. But they come into tonight a season high 4 over 500, 44-40. Neil Walker, their second baseman, says right now their confidence is pretty high. Your Arizona Ford starting pitcher for the D-backs, Brandon McCarthy, turns 31 years old in 4 days. Outstanding in his previous start at San Diego. Can he duplicate that effort here tonight?
I don't try and do much different. Again, the weird thing about San Diego is I felt like I threw as well as I had in other games this year where the results hadn't been there. So the same way when the results have been poor, I've tried to not get down with it. When they're good, I try not to rise too much with it. Just try and stay flatline, keep doing the work that I've been doing, and hoping that the results turn with it.
One of his best performances in a D-backs uniform. 2-10 on the year, a 5.11 ERA, and he'll start off with rookie Gregory Polanco. Strike 1, says DJ Rayburn. Polanco now at 306. Home run number 3 last night. A walk, a double, a homer. Drove in 2, scored twice. 3 hits and 5 at bats in the series, and they've all been big ones. Nick Evans at 3rd. Getting his first big league action over there for the most part. Here is the Pirate lineup tonight.
Good to retire Polanco at the top with his speed. He is definitely a threat. Had a big night last night with a homer and double. Drove in a couple, scored a couple. He'll be followed by Starling Marte and Andrew McCutchen. It'll be Neil Walker, Russell Martin, and Ike Davis in the middle. Pedro Alvarez, Jordy Mercer, and right-hander Vance Worley on the mound for the Pirates.
Nick Evans' first major league start at third base. He has played 3 innings at third in his entire big league career. Has played a pretty fair amount there in the minors, however. Starling Marte. Marte 259, 5 homers. The Marte Parte here in Pittsburgh. A very productive 1 for 4 last night. An RBI double. He scored a run. Also walked and stole a base. Drove in the Pirates' first run of the ball game last night with that RBI ground out. 2 for 8 in the series. And of course that had that big 2-run double in the 9th Tuesday. That tied up the ball game. 2 balls and 1 strike. And he is a D-backs killer. 12 games. He's hit over 370 in those 12 games. 11 RBIs and 9 extra base hits. 3 of them home runs. What do you think about testing Nick Evans down there at third if you're the Pirates?
Well, I think that's a smart move on the part of the Pirates. Just got to see what the guy's capable of doing down there. Fortunately for Nick, the very first ball of the game has hit his direction.
Amazing.
I know for a fact when you're playing a position that you're not real comfortable, real familiar with, you want to get that first ball hit to you as quickly as possible. Get it out of the way so you don't think about it.
Nick has played a fair amount of third in the D-backs minor league system. 15 games at third this year at AAA Reno. Played about 50 games at third for AA Mobile last year.
I know he played a lot of third for the Arizona Wolverines when he was 13 years old.
It's not in the media guide. I'm not sure what happened there. I have to talk to Casey about that. 2-2. On the ground to Didi. This is the Diamondback look defensively behind Brandon McCarthy.
It'll be a Peralta, Inciarte, and Kieschnick outfield left to right tonight. We've seen Nick Evans at third base. We've seen Didi Gregorius at shortstop. The right side of the infield will be Aaron Hill, Paul Goldschmidt, and Miguel Montero once again behind the plate for right-hander Brandon McCarthy.
And Gerardo Parra and Martin Prado both struggling offensively, both getting the night off tonight. So it's Roger Kieschnick in right fighting the sun and shadows out there. And Drew McCutchen takes strike 1, 7th in the National League in hitting, leading the league in walks, 2nd in on-base percentage, and 3rd in OPS at .938, just 1 spot ahead of Paul Goldschmidt. McCarthy ahead 0-2. Glenn Sherlock, Kurt Gibson. .94 misses. It's a ball and 2 strikes to McCutchen. 2 for 7 in the series so far. He had a pair of singles last night. Also walked and struck out twice. Two and two.
I like that pitch right there. A couple of breaking balls to start the sequence. He elevated a 4-seam fastball and then tried to throw that cutter right at McCutchen and bring it back to the inside corner. You can see the reaction of the right-handed hitter. Just a little bit more movement and he gets that strike.
Brandon McCarthy, as we mentioned, outstanding his last time out Friday at San Diego. One of his best performances as a D-back. First pitch strikes to 23 of the 26 he faced. Only 2 3-ball counts the entire ball game. Finishing with 7 strikeouts and no walks. And he goes 3-2 on McCutchen. Started out 0-2. It's now full 3-2. Base hit. Now McCutchen really not running well at all. In fact, literally not running. Jogging up the line there. You'll recall he fouled that pitch off his ankle last night late in the ball game.
Yeah, it came out in the 9th inning. And after scalding that ball up the middle of the field for his first hit of the game, just kind of jogs on down that first baseline. Normally he would be a threat to steal a base. He's perfect 12 for 12 on the season, but I don't think you have to worry about him tonight.
Kind of reminds you of the way Troy Tulowitzki runs the bases, trying to protect those groin injuries. Neil Walker, the switch hitting second baseman in the cleanup spot again tonight. And he looks at strike one from Brandon McCarthy. Walker 271, 11 homers. And there's an all-star voting push for Walker here in Pittsburgh. Polls close in less than 5 hours. Don't forget, vote Goldie. All-Star game July 15th, only on Fox from Target Field in Minneapolis. And Walker had a bit of a setback last month. He missed 14 games after an appendectomy. Got the call inside there. It's 1-2. Neil Walker 1 for 5 last night. He has got 2 hits and 8 at-bats in the series so far.
Tough son in the bullpen right now.
Shot of Matt Stites, who also had an appendectomy, wiped out the second half of his season last year. Yeah, it's bright out there. The left fielder right now, Peralta, and Ender Inciarte in center. Just getting blasted by a setting sun right now. Everyone else out there is in the shadow. Kieschnick standing in the lights. McCutchen the runner at first. A ball and 2 strikes on Neil Walker. Called strike 3. Ring him up and sit him down. Strands the 1-out single. No score through 1 at PNC Park. Starter Vance Worley. This is a guy that doesn't throw a big fastball, does not get a lot of swing and miss strikeouts with his stuff, but he can locate very well, and he's sort of got this funny knack for getting called strikes with good command. He keeps it in the ballpark, and he had 2 strikeouts looking in that top of the first inning.
I really think the deception is a big part of his game. We talked about that crossfire, throwing across his body, stepping to the third base side of the mound, and yeah, first time through the lineup, it's a little bit of an adjustment, but after you've seen him for a few pitches, hopefully a little better approach second time through.
Miguel Montero leads off the D-backs second against the Vanimal. Fouls that one away. 0-1. Miggy 263, 11 homers, and 48 RBIs. On base twice last night with a walk. He was hit by a pitch. 1 for 6 in the series. Yanks that one right into the glove of Ike Davis at first. Hang with him.
Good contact for Miggy. Got a good pitch to hit. Hit it hard. It's all you can do. You can't control where the ball goes once it leaves your bat. Ike Davis right there to make the play.
He's like, what do you want from me? I got a big wingspan. Aaron Hill. Strike one, says DJ Rayburn. Aaron at 248, 6 homers. Russell Martin set up inside that time, did not get the call. It's 1-1. 42 driven in for Aaron Hill. He's got a pair of RBI singles in the first 2 games of this series. 2 hits and 8 at bats. Coming back inside here. This is down and in, 2-1.
Hey fans, anytime the D-backs score 6 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
All right, to get some offense, they have scored 1 or 2 runs in 6 of their last 8 games. Line right to Mercer at short. Diamondbacks, by all rights, could have 2 base hits to start off the inning. Instead, it's 2 line drive outs.
Yeah, usually when that happens, somebody in the Diamondbacks dugout will yell out to Vance Worley, well, you got him popping up. 2 rocket line drives here, one by Miguel Montero to Ike Davis at first, and now Aaron Hill lines out to Jordy Mercer at shortstop. Find a hole.
Nick Evans making his 3rd start for the D-backs this year. 1 hit in 11 at bats. The 1 hit is home run at Coors Field back on June 3rd. Punches this into right. Polanco tracks it down. Diamondback hitters finding the gloves of Pirates defenders. A 7-pitch second inning for Vance Worley, helped out in no small part by his defense. Davis, Mercer, and Polanco. Still no score. There in the kayaks. Actually, we're kidding. They did that last year. Didn't make the kayak trip. You didn't even get any fishing in on this one, did you?
No, not here in Pittsburgh. Nope. Too busy crushing Giovanni's pizza.
That's what they use for bait with you, huh?
Yeah.
Russell Martin. The Pirate catcher, 274, 4 home runs. He's got 3 hits and 6 at bats in the series. It was on base 3 times last night. A walk, a single, and a double. Slow roll to short right to Didi Gregorius. On away.
Well, we have a moment. Let's take a look at our Valley Honda dealer keys to the game. And with the deadline for voting for the All-Star game creeping up, we encourage you once again to vote Goldie. Go online, punch him up. And for Brandon McCarthy, just pretend you're at Petco Park playing the Padres. He's dealt twice this year. Both of his wins have come against the Padres.
That's grammatically incorrect. I hate to be a nudge.
What's that? Oh, yeah.
Mike Davis.
We're doing it on the fly.
Well, we ran out of space, that's all. 1-0. Davis, 254 homers. 0 for 3 last night, 1 for 4 in the series. The one was a big one, though, the walk-off winner Tuesday night. Brandon McCarthy, healthy all year long. He always wondered, he said, what could I do if I stay healthy? Turns out I'd be 2-10 with a 5 ERA. Nice job by Meg Buckingham to fix that one up. He is feeling great and expects great results. 2-1. Second 3-ball count of the ball game. He had only 2 the entire game his last start against the Padres at Petco to open up this road trip. 3-1. It's full.
Well, that's not an easy pitch to get away with. A 93-mile-an-hour fastball right down the middle of the plate on a 3-1 count. Most hitters come out of their shoes on that pitch. Another one.
Called strike 3. Second strikeout for McCarthy. 2 down in the second.
2 grooved fastballs. 3-1 and then 3-2. Right there.
Wow. The man known here as El Toro, Pedro Alvarez, 240, 13 homers. 1 for 6 in the series. He has struck out 4 times. He has been an all or nothing guy throughout his career, and lately more nothing than all. There has been a bit of a power decline this year. Last year, Alvarez tied Goldie for the league lead in homers. This year, he's had nearly half his 13 home runs in the season's first month. Much quieter lately. In fact, Alvarez only 15 extra base hits in his last 56 games. They are wondering what's happened to the production here in Pittsburgh. Tuo is dropped into left for a base hit.
Alvarez had a shift beater in his first at bat last night in the ball game. Hit a little ground ball that just trickled through the left side. Diamondbacks were loaded up on the right side, expecting him to pull the ball on the ground.
And here's a guy that's been a problem in this series for the D-backs. It's the shortstop, Jordy Mercer. 4 hits and 6 at bats against the Diamondbacks here. He reached base safely in all 4 plate appearances last night. And 3 singles and a base on balls. He scored a run. Bounced foul right by Nick Leyva at third. Quickly 0-2. Jordy Mercer from Oklahoma State. He's a Cowboy. 3rd round pick by the Pirates in the 08 draft. Back with you tomorrow from Atlanta on July 4th. 4 o'clock back home in the great state of Arizona. D-backs and Braves from Turner Field. Final stop on this 3-city road trip. Coming inside here. Mercer got a piece of it to stay alive. Talking about Brandon McCarthy's previous outing at San Diego, Miguel Montero mentioned that the secondary stuff was good, more than normal. And so they used it a lot. That made the fastball look better, Miggy said. Good location with that fastball. Important, of course, but the curveball both in and away especially effective. This is outside. Alvarez takes off, and he is out of there. Miguel Montero throws out another potential base stealer. That part of his game continues to improve. And the D-backs are out of the second. Montero throws it out from his knees. We are scoreless through 2.
Performance they talked about on the post-game show, 3 errors, miscommunication, and then there's a different look to the lineup today. Roger Kieschnick, who's coming to the plate, Nick Evans over at third. I asked him today, point blank, are you trying to send a message with this lineup? He said, no, got a couple of guys that are just overly frustrated, including Martin Prado. But there was some, I thought, provocative follow-up questions to Kirk Gibson, asking him, was there a bit of a hangover after that gut-wrenching loss in Game 1, and did you feel the need to say something to the group last night after the game? He said no. They were aware clearly that that was one of, if not the poorest games of the year. And they're out to try and fix that here tonight. Always a delicate balance, Bob, I'm sure, when you let them have it in the room. And
you got to pick your spots. I always had team meetings right before Randy pitched.
Meetings seemed a lot more effective that way, huh?
Sure do.
Kieschnick right back to the mound, 7 up, 7 down against Vance Worley. Well, there's no question the offense is struggling. You've got Gerardo Parra, who's 2 for his last 22. You've got Martin Prado, who has hit under 200 over his last 21 games. Some of these guys just need a day here, clearly.
Yeah, hot and humid here in Pittsburgh. The first 2 games of the series. We're heading to Atlanta after the ball game tonight, where I'm sure it will be hot and humid once again. So this is the kind of road trip you do have to pick your spots. And if guys are struggling and look like physically they may be worn down a little bit, you just have to give them a day here and there, let them catch their breath, and get them right back in there.
Pedro Alvarez well in on the grass at third as Didi Gregorius looks at strike 1. Didi an even 200 with a pair of homers. 0 for 3 with a walk in last night's ball game. That snapped a 3-game hit streak. It's this one along the left field line, but drifting near the seats. Long run for Marte, but it's out of play. That ball girl didn't do quite as good a job as the one last night when she caught that screaming liner. Not sure if that's the same young lady or not. Looks like her. Oops.
Hang on to the helmet. Nice job.
0-2. Needs a chin strap or something. Alvarez at third. Two down, and here is Brandon McCarthy. Good start so far for Vance Worley. 2-0 in 3 starts with the Pirates this year. And remember him, of course, as Bob mentioned, with the Phillies. 2011 had a good season, 11-3 with a 3.01 ERA. A 7-pitch second inning for Worley. Now he's got 2 outs on 6 pitches here in the third, and he starts McCarthy off with a strike. Worley really struggled last year, his only season with the Twins, went 1-5 in Minnesota. The ERA was over 7, and all kinds of injury issues. Did not make a start for Minnesota after May 22nd last year. Had to be shut down with shoulder inflammation, then needed an operation to remove bone spurs from his elbow. Pirates went and got him just before opening day, and he's been a very nice pickup for them. And he strikes out McCarthy, looking. 3 strikeouts for Worley, who has retired all 9 he's faced. No score in Pittsburgh. Great day to escape the heat and bring the family to Chase Field. Join us, D-backs and Cubs, 1:10 start. First off Star Wars Day, so Luke Lay and the whole gang will be there. Plus, first 5,000 kids in attendance that day. Get the back-to-school backpack, courtesy of Cox Communications. And when you buy your tickets, get the most bang for your buck. Make it a D-backs value pack. That gets you a bleacher ticket, a hot dog, or a Subway sandwich. Regular Pepsi and a coupon for a free cookie, all for only $21. For tickets, visit dbacks.com/value, and we'll see you at Chase Field Sunday, July 20th.
Well, you know what Alice Cooper said, school's out for the summer. I don't even like mentioning that word at this time of year.
You still carry a grudge.
It's summertime. Those kids work so hard during the school year and look so forward to their vacation in the summertime, and then we remind them, hey, back to school. You know, it's like getting somebody on their vacation saying, hey, you know what, 3 days you have to go back to work.
Sounds like a few wives out there. 0-1 to Jordy Mercer, who was at bat when Alvarez was thrown out, trying to steal second by Miguel Montero to end the bottom of the second inning.
Yeah, baseball wives, you know it's been a long off season when they start asking you, when does spring training start?
When do you go back to work? Soon, I hope.
That's out of play, drifting into the seats.
Alvarez was thrown out trying to steal there to end the bottom half of the second inning. Jordy Mercer was 0-2 in that at bat, and quickly 0-2 here again in his next go round.
Picked up right where we left off. Interesting to see with this perfect weather tonight how that changes the way the ball carries. There is a little breeze blowing out to left center field right now. The humidity has moved on, thank goodness. Base hit. Boy, Jordy Mercer on board again, and he will try for a hustle double.
Props to Jordy Mercer right there, the 8-hitter. He knows if he gets to second base, it will allow Vance Worley to possibly put down a sac bunt and move him up to third base with only one out in the inning. Peralta got to the ball in pretty good shape. Just good hustle on the part of Jordy Mercer to get in there with a slide.
11th double for the Pirates shortstop. And he's on second to lead off the third, and here's Worley, the pitcher. Paul Goldschmidt coming well into your picture right there, all the way from first base.
With Goldie charging as hard as he is from the first base side of the field, Brandon McCarthy is responsible for everything bunted to the third base side of the field. Now, if it's bunted hard enough to get by Brandon McCarthy, then of course Nick Evans would have to come in and make the play. But in this particular setup with a runner at second, no runner at first base, Nick Evans tries to hang around that bag as much as he can and trust that Brandon McCarthy can bounce off the mound and field a bunt on the third base side of the field.
Swings away. Goldie has no play at third. He'll settle for the out at first as Aaron Hill covers. And Mercer advances 90 feet. Well, fans, it's that time again. We have Richard on the case. Richard and Oscar doing a D-backs Spanish language radio broadcast. Tweet us your fan photo on the Twitter. Use the hashtag AZFanPhoto for your chance to have it shown in our upcoming game broadcast, brought to you by AT&T. There's Richard on the left there after his miserable performance last night.
Well, the only saving grace was the gentleman in the picture did have a purple old school D-backs t-shirt on.
Oh, wait, he's got a sign.
Uh-oh.
What's he saying here? Webby and Rodrigo. I'm hot, so stay cold. Wow, some trash talk.
Ooh.
How about Chico? Webby and Rodrigo, if you're out there, it's on.
Wow.
Talking some smack with the AT&T fan photo. I kind of like it. He's upped the stakes a bit. Here's Polanco. Lynn Hurdle says now the Pirates coaching staff and players finally getting to see what a lot of their development people saw in the minor leagues with Gregory Polanco. Only the guys here getting to see it on a bigger stage. And Hurdle says this kid has got skills. Wants to elevate on the 0-2. He lays off. McCarthy trying to figure out a way to strand Mercer at third with one out. One after that high fastball, and it stays 1-2.
10th batter that Brandon McCarthy's faced in this ball game. He's had an 0-2 count on 5 of them, including Jordy Mercer twice. If you can't really say that, but because the one at bat got washed out with the stolen base attempts.
True. 1-2. Bounce to short. Didi had to go up there too high to make a play on Mercer, and the Pirates take a 1-0 lead. If he didn't have to leave his feet, he might have had an option there to go home, but he has to settle for the out at first, and it's 1-0 Pittsburgh.
Well, you've got to make that decision quickly while you're up in the air. Just kind of use your peripheral vision to see where the runner is. Possibly could have had a play, might have been very close, and could have been one of those plays at the plate that we would have had to look at the review several times. I think Didi made the right choice right there. Make sure you get an out on the play. Trust that your offense will find a way to score.
So how big was that extra base that Mercer picked up when he turned a single into a hustle double? Now 1-0 Pirates. Here's Starling Marte. Oh, 2.
Yeah, even though Worley was not able to get the bunt down, that little chopper to the right side served the purpose. Moved Jordy Mercer from second to third base, where he scored on that little chopper to short. That was, you know, we always point out the times that the contact play turns into a big time out at home plate, but that was a perfect example right there of a contact play getting the Pirates a run.
Base hit. That's in the left center field gap. Peralta over there to cut it off, and Marte will stop at first. 4 hits for the Pirates.
Sinker down. That time Marte just able to get underneath it and barrel it up into left field for a 2-out base hit. Got to keep an eye on him over there. He likes to run. 19 stolen bases on the season.
Had a steal last night in the 6th inning after he walked. Was 3rd in the league in stolen bases last year. Here's McCutchen, who singled his first time tonight. Now up to .315 on the year. Started the night 7th in the league in hitting.
You mentioned the stolen base in the ball game last night by Marte. The Diamondbacks threw over to first base 6 times in an attempt to take some of the spring out of his legs, shorten up that lead, and he still stole the base.
And there he goes. Pitch out is on. Montero's throw, and he is in there. 20th steal to this point for Starling Marte. I think he caught that one in the left-hand batter's box. Looked like they had a shot to get him there. Still getting second base umpire.
You see Aaron Hill dropping that left leg down there. Tough to tell whether the tag was applied before Marte got the hand on the base. And this is one place where replay really does come in handy, because a lot of times that infielder will catch the ball and apply the tag to the legs or to the top of the helmet while the hand or the feet are sliding toward the base. Very tough for an umpire to see all of that in his line of vision.
Even when he's perfectly positioned like that.
Yeah. I mean, if you watch the base to see when his hand's on the base, you don't see when the tag is made. If you watch the tag, you don't see the hand on the base.
So the 20th steal of the season for Starling Marte. He's in scoring position now for McCutchen. And it's in there for a strike, 1-1. You saw the stall tactic there as Aaron Hill and Miguel Montero went to the mound to give Alan Campbell, the D-backs video coordinator, a chance to get a look and then relay a message to Alan Trammell in the dugout. But from what the Diamondbacks saw, there was no challenge on the play. And now a 1-1 count on McCutchen. McCutchen, a very effective hitter in his home park, batting almost .340 at PNC Park this season. He's got 8 of his 12 home runs here.
The Pirates as a team have been really good here at PNC Park. A .271 home batting average. Only the Rockies are higher in the National League, and we know all about Coors Field.
All too well. Sunlight has now moved on out by the river, so every fielder for the D-backs encased in shadow right now. Beautiful PNC Park in Pittsburgh. Right by Nick Leyva at third. That's the walking concourses out there behind the left field foul pole. And when they have a big game here or a postseason game, you can barely walk out there. It's so full of fans, right?
Packed. I mean, even the Roberto Clemente Bridge, for what you can see from the span across the river, people were standing over there.
Yes, he went. Jim Joyce, the crew chief, at first. McCutchen strikes out. They strand Marte. But the Pirates get a run to take a 1-0 lead. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. We'll see Goldie. Don't forget, polls close soon. Vote now. Oh, the top two finishers in the NL MVP vote last year.
And this is why. Those guys accumulated numbers. They help their team in multiple ways. We know all about Goldie. We see him on a daily basis, and we see enough of Andrew McCutchen in 6 games a year to know that he's one of the premier players in the game.
McCutchen, the NL MVP last year, 28 of the 30 first place votes from the baseball writers, finishing ahead of Paul Goldschmidt. Ender Inciarte looks at ball one. Goldie the runner-up, despite the fact he did not receive any first-place votes, and frankly, we're still ticked off.
Yeah, that's amazing. Just amazing.
Yadier Molina got the other 2 first-place votes. That did not go to McCutchen, both from St. Louis writers who cover the Cardinals. 2-0 on Ender Inciarte, who tapped back to the mound his first time up.
I think a lot of people just got caught up in the excitement here. Pittsburgh back in the playoffs for the first time in a long time. And Andrew McCutchen was their poster boy. And rightfully so. But Goldie doesn't get 1 vote.
McCutchen an all-star each of the last 3 years. He leads all National League outfielders in the vote totals. All-star game July 15th, only on Fox. Hold on there, Ender. 3-1, says DJ Rayburn.
Like it might have been up just a little bit. You see Russell Martin perched on that inside corner. And might have just nipped the top of the strike zone. man.
You got to be kidding me. 10 up, 10 down so far for Vance Worley, but he's had, well, now 4 balls off the bat of Diamondback hitters that could have been base hits. He has 3 strikeouts, 10 up, 10 down. David Peralta struck out looking his first time. "35 pitches for Worley, 26 strikes.
That first time through the Diamondbacks order, he was strike 1 on 8 of the 9 hitters.
From Sacramento, played at Cal State Long Beach, 3rd round pick by the Phillies in 08. On a hop to Walker at second. 2 down in the 4th.
Hey fans, when the D-backs win, you win at Papa John's. The day after every Diamondbacks win, you get 50% off your regular menu price online order at Papa John's. Enter promo code DBACKS50 at papajohns.com.
Paul Goldschmidt struck out looking his first time. Not really getting the opportunity to hit a lot. We've talked about that. Not getting a lot of pitches, not having others hit around him, so he's not had the opportunity to produce like we normally see. Is that in the air to right? Polanco drifting near the corner. And Vance Worley has retired all 12 D-backs he's faced. He leads it 1-0.
Arizona is brought to you in part by CenturyLink, your link to what's next, and by Jack in the Box. If the D-backs hit a home run today, score a free Jumbo Jack tomorrow with a purchase of a large drink.
On board the Duchess, right outside PNC Park, just behind right field in this beautiful ballpark. D-backs trail the Pirates 1-0, set for the home half of the 4th. And Brandon McCarthy will face Neil Walker, Russell Martin, and Ike Davis 4, 5, and 6 for Pittsburgh. Another strike 1 from Brandon McCarthy. McCarthy reported to be a potential trade target by these Pittsburgh Pirates. There's been a lot of discussion about that. This is hard down the line, but foul. Other teams like the Toronto Blue Jays have reportedly been interested as well. Seattle, Boston, Oakland, Miami. There's a whole list. And Brandon admits, given the D-back struggles and his pending free agency, that it certainly seems likely he could finish the season in another uniform. He's aware that at this point, as he put it, you become an asset the other way, meaning a trade chip that can bring a helpful piece to an organization looking for the future. Walker finds the gap in right center field. Kieschnick over there to cut it off, and Walker's in there with a double, his 10th.
Not sure if this is an individual decision or whether the Pirates as a team have decided they're going to put pressure on the Diamondbacks outfield in this game. Kieschnick gets to the ball in pretty good shape. Unfortunately, his throw back to the infield bounced several times before it got to the bag at second, allowing Walker to reach with another hustle double.
Mercer did this to lead off the third, wound up scoring the game's only run, came in on a Polanco ground out, and now Walker is in there at second to lead off the fourth. Russell Martin. And so the Pirates, if they do have interest in McCarthy, we always use the term reportedly, they're getting an up close and personal look here. And Brandon totally understands that side of the game, accepts it as reality. He says baseball players have an internal clock. They understand how these things work. They know when things are lining up to happen. Base hit into left. A double and a single to lead off the fourth.
And that base hit to Walker, the hustle double to right field. The 7th 0-2 count that Brandon McCarthy's had on a Pirates hitter in this ball game. Unfortunately, the second 0-2 hit he's allowed in the game.
What do you attribute that to? He's jumping ahead. That's part of the plan.
Yeah, you just, you know, maybe his command is a little too good today, throwing too many strikes.
Remember, first pitch strikes to 23 of the 26 he faced in San Diego in his previous start. Davis struck out his first time, 0 for 1. Hard to right, 2-0 Pittsburgh. Two doubles to lead off innings for the Pirates and 2 runs.
I almost hate to say it, but this is starting to look like one of those innings that we saw, unfortunately, way too often from Brandon earlier this year, where everything just seems to come apart quickly. And to that end, Mike Harkey's going to make a trip to the mound right here and try to halt this momentum.
He has thrown 6 pitches in the inning, 3 hits and a run for the Pirates. And you recall that, as Bob mentioned, Brandon McCarthy has fallen victim to the big inning at times this year. He's given up a total coming into tonight of 63 runs this year. 24 of those runs have come in 6 individual innings, all big innings. The last was a 3-run first against the Giants a couple of starts ago. Rando Delgado had to spring into action early last night when Chase Anderson had issues, and it looks like Oliver Perez, the former Pirate, is loosening up out there.
Well, Randall was really good last night. Came into a tough situation, bases loaded, struck out a batter to get out of that jam, and then dealt for 2 more innings.
Got to be careful here with Alvarez. A single his first time.
Well, first time through the Pirates order, they didn't swing at the first strike. It almost looked like they told themselves, we're going to take until we get a strike and then we're going to go to work. Second time through, they're a little more aggressive, looking for anything close to that strike zone.
Down the line at third, Evans steps on the bag for the force, and they turn the double play. So 2 quick outs to limit the damage here. Keep in mind it is the 4th inning, and when Brandon has had these big innings, it usually comes at this point in the game. A 3-run 4th at Colorado, 4-run 5th at the Cubs, that 7-run 4th at the White Sox.
And that second time and then the third time through the order, they're going to intentionally walk Jordy Mercer here. Get to the pitcher, Vance Worley. Sometimes that can be an offense's game plan against an opposing pitcher. I believe I've told the story in the past about Fernando Valenzuela. When he first got to the major leagues, he was very predictable. If the first pitch was a strike, he was going to throw a cut fastball inside on the next pitch. If the first pitch was a ball, he would come back with that changeup screwball. And he was so consistent with it that in one of our starts against him, we just decided to take the first pitch every at bat. If you fall behind in the count 0-1, get ready for that fastball coming in on your hands. If the pitch was out of the strike zone 1-0, he was going to come back with that changeup. Of course, Freddie figured it out pretty quickly.
I'll mention that against the Padres, that curveball that both Montero and McCarthy liked so much was a key for him, throwing it in and away. Throwing it for strikes. A lot of fastballs here tonight. So here's Worley with 2 on and 2 out. Oh, and 2. Four strikeouts for McCarthy, but the Pirates add another run, and through 4 they lead the D-backs 2-0. We mark the 1-year anniversary of the Yarnell fire with a story of Wade Parker, Granite Mountain hotshot who lived and breathed baseball. Plus catch Bronson Arroyo, Aaron Hill, and Mark Trumbo paying a visit to the headquarters of the world-famous Fender guitar. It's the 10th inning presented by CenturyLink this Sunday after the D-backs and Braves game right here on Fox Sports Arizona. You can check out a clip or two at foxsportsarizona.com for a special preview. Mike Harkey and Brandon McCarthy.
Now, sometimes these quick meetings in the dugout are initiated by the pitching coach, other times by the pitcher himself. Come off the mound. What did you see that inning? Did you see something different than I was doing earlier in the ball game? Address it quickly and move forward.
Well, nobody's talking to Vance Worley. I can guarantee you that. He has retired all 12 he's faced so far. Miguel Montero, Aaron Hill, Nick Evans 4, 5, and 6 in the Arizona 5th. Miggy lined out to Ike Davis at first, his first time up. 1-0 is in there for a strike. 1-1. Miggy, I think, leads the league in glances back to the umpire.
They just nipped that inside corner with that cut fastball.
It's the kind of pitch that Worley gets a lot of calls on because the way his ball moves, he has a funny knack for that. Not a big swing and miss guy, but he does get a lot of called strikes. In fact, all 3 of his strikeouts so far were called strike 3s. Down and away here on 2-1. He lifts it in the air, foul along the left field line.
It's been a real bounce back season for Miguel Montero. I mentioned before when I came back to take this job, one of the things I was looking forward to is watching Miggy, because he just killed the Cubs every time they played the Diamondbacks. Back-to-back years, 86 and 88 RBIs, and then really fell off the planet last year, but has had a huge bounce back season so far this year.
Leading all major league catchers in RBIs. Worley misses there, and it's full 3-2, and he's done that while starting more games and catching more innings behind the plate than any catcher in baseball this year. And he's worked it full.
Excuse me, partner. I'll tell you another thing that's going to help Vance Worley and all these Pirates pitchers is having Russell Martin behind the plate. He holds those borderline pitches and makes them look as good as he possibly can. I know they have ways of evaluating catchers now and grading the guys who make the borderline pitches look good, but Russell Martin passes the eye test. I've seen him take some, we'll call them borderline pitches. In reality, they were balls, and by the way he catches them, always pushing the ball back toward the plate, gets some calls for his pitching staff.
Well, that's the end of the perfect game. D-backs have their first base runner. Montero walks to lead off the 5th. Here's Aaron Hill, who lined to short his first time. Russell Martin has been a godsend here. They didn't have a catcher for a long time, and he does such a good job behind the plate receiving the ball. We've mentioned how good he is and throwing out attempted base stealers. In fact, he led the major leagues in throwing out base runners last year. And the pitcher's ERA for the Pirates is decidedly lower when Martin is behind the plate, and they love him. He's a fan favorite here. Position was kind of a black hole in Pittsburgh for a while. In fact, Martin, age 31 season here, a 2-year $17 million deal, expires after this year. And the Pirates president says when he's out there on the street, number one thing fans say to him, you got to keep Russell Martin. And he says, all I say is I agree with you entirely. And they want to keep him here. 1-1. Bounce to Alvarez at third. Walker will settle for 1. Hill's aboard.
Alvarez let that ball get to him right there. He actually backed up a couple of steps, pretty much eliminating any chance of turning the double play. Miggy sliding right in on top of Neil Walker there to prevent the double play.
Nick Evans had a slicing liner to the right field corner that Polanco tracked down.
That was back in that second inning when Miggy and then Aaron Hill and Nick Evans, all 3 lined out in that inning.
It's amazing. So when you're watching BB Russell Martin behind the plate, what do you see that you like so much?
He has very, very soft hands for one thing. A lot of guys, the ball will hit in the mitt and rattle out, drop to the ground. And those borderline pitches, I keep talking about the borderline pitches on the corners, inside and outside, and especially at the bottom of the strike zone. There's a real art to getting below a low pitch so that when you catch it, your glove is coming up. It's a lot different than catching the ball and then jerking your glove up. Your glove is actually moving up as you're in the process of catching the ball, and those are the ones that you can steal a call from time to time from the home plate umpire. Same thing on the corners. Get outside the baseball so that when you're catching it, your glove is always moving back toward the center of the plate.
A little more seamless and less kind of herky-jerky.
Yeah. I mean, in one case, you're catching the ball and then moving your glove, and in the other one, you're moving your glove as you catch the ball.
Walker right in front of Alvarez. They almost collide, but that's the second out. Well, I hate to burst your bubble here, but if you get your robot umpires,
I know,
you're going to lose the fine subtleties of catching.
Well, then all the sabermetricians can have exactly what they want: offense-oriented catchers. Now, that's true. That's one thing that would get lost if you go to robot umpires, or automated strike zone, as I prefer to call it. That's something that would definitely go by the wayside.
Don't politicize it. 50 pitches for Worley, 35 for strikes. As he throws ball one to Roger Keeshnick, getting the start in right field tonight. He tapped back to the mound his first time. And he does so again. Lines it back to Worley this time, and he erases the leadoff walk. Home half of the fifth. Diamondbacks looking for their first hit. They trail it 2-0.
Of the fifth, let's take a look at our Coors Banquet timeless moment. Lou Gehrig, 17 major league seasons, ridiculously good numbers, a two-time MVP in the American League. Coming up on the anniversary of his famous speech. And I got to tell you, fans, if you get an opportunity, check out foxarizona.com or MLB.com. And they've gone around to all the first basemen in baseball to repeat a line in Lou Gehrig's famous speech on the 4th of July. The 75th anniversary coming up tomorrow. I would highly recommend you check it out. Paul Goldschmidt's involved. All first basemen in baseball are involved. Really a touching piece, a really nice piece of video.
The luckiest man on the face of the earth, the Iron Horse. Gregory Polanco drove in a run with a RBI ground out his first time up. Pirates lead it 2-0. D-backs still do not have a hit through 5 against Vance Worley. That's in the seats. Gregory Polanco is hitting .347 at AAA when he was finally called up. And the Pirates were kind of taking a PR hit there. They were criticized for waiting so long. A lot of talk about the arbitration clock, which is kind of a moving target every year. It's likely that Pittsburgh did wait long enough to bring Polanco up to the big league so they could avoid that Super 2 status, which would have given him an extra year of arbitration. 2-2 misses away, and it's full.
Third 3-ball count in the game for Brandon McCarthy. He's had 8 0-2 counts in this game. And we talked about Polanco in the ball game last night. For a young player, he's got a real good eye for the strike zone. Very disciplined.
Shallow center field. Who wants it? Aaron Hill's out there, and he can't get it. Polanco halfway between first and second, and he'll scamper back to the bag in time. Well, for whatever reason in this series, that's happened to the Diamondbacks a number of times. These balls just hit into little Bermuda Triangle no man's lands, and they always seem to drop in.
What a great effort by Aaron Hill, running straight out into center field and trying to make that diving attempt on an over-the-shoulder catch. Just a little cue shot off the end of the bat of Polanco. Ender Inciarte broke back initially and then realized he had no chance to get there, so he gave up on it. Aaron Hill looked like he actually landed on top of the baseball that time. Fortunately, gets it back into Didi quickly to chase Polanco back to first base.
Polanco had taken a really big turn. He was halfway to the bag at second before he got back in time. There's ball one to Starling Marte, who singled and stole the bases last time up. Part of this Pirate outfield. Marte in left, McCutcheon in center, now Polanco in right. And all three guys hitting at the top of the Pittsburgh order, and it's a group they figure to have together for a long time. Marte finally helped them solidify that left field spot. That had been another problem area for the Pirates in recent years. There's a strike.
Polanco, another Pirate that's a threat to steal. I mentioned it last night. 2 years ago, stole 40 bases in the minor leagues, 38 last year in the minors. He's a perfect 4 for 4 so far in the big leagues here.
Got those long legs. Runs like a deer out there. Left field, backs up Peralta. Here comes Andrew McCutcheon, the reigning NL MVP. Thoughts on McCutcheon from Paul Goldschmidt.
He's one of the best players in baseball. He's proven it, for a few years now, and he's doing it again. I was thinking about it earlier today. He's one of the guys, when he comes up to the plate and you're on defense, you are not comfortable. I mean, you not want him up there. There's no holes in his swing. It's really, you almost got to hope that he makes a mistake and mishits the ball, because it's really tough to attack him. And he plays Gold Glove defense out there, steals bases, so he can do it all.
And they're on the same field here at PNC Park this week. It's been fun to watch.
Kind of a mutual admiration society. Both guys realize that the other guy is one of the best at his position. They finished 1-2 in the MVP voting. I think they're going to be bumping heads for a long time.
The funny thing is, both guys are so similar in their makeup, in terms of their work ethic, their personality, their citizenship. They are perfect, absolutely perfect franchise building blocks.
No question about it. It's funny, somebody asked McCutcheon last year when he felt like he had actually made it. And he said when he was walking down the street in Pittsburgh one day and somebody called him Andrew McCutcheon instead of Larry Fitzgerald, who played football at Pitt. Has a similar hairstyle, similar build, and McCutcheon said, that's when I felt that the fans in Pittsburgh finally realized that I was not Larry Fitzgerald, I was Andrew McCutcheon.
Now he's just Kutch. He's behind 0-2 with Polanco at first. And McCutcheon strikes out for the second time tonight. 5 strikeouts for McCarthy. And speaking of the All-Star game, don't forget, voting ends tonight, Tuesday, July 15th. Baseball's best gather in Minnesota for Derek Jeter's final appearance in the Midsummer Classic. Special coverage begins at 1:30 on Fox Sports 1, followed by the All-Star game at 4:30, only on Fox. Two down for Neil Walker, who doubled and scored his first time, or his last time up. He's 1 for 2. Touchin struck out twice last night. Once on Tuesday. He's got 2 strikeouts against McCarthy tonight. Polanco takes off. The throw from Montero is not in time. Gregory Polanco 5 for 5 in the big leagues in stolen base attempts.
We talked about those long legs and those long strides, especially the first couple of steps over there at first base.
Man, look at those legs. Long loping strides. Pretty good throw by Miggy, too.
Right on the money. Miggy couldn't have done much more.
Here comes Kirk Gibson. They might have a challenge here. And they will have a challenge. Diamondbacks are challenging the safe call at second. So you've got Jim Joyce, the crew chief, who's the first base umpire, and Doug Eddings, the second base umpire, putting on the headsets, and the challenge is underway. Boy, Miggy has done a superb job lately behind the plate and throwing out or attempting to throw out these base runners.
Yeah, and once again, watch Polanco's first couple of steps here. I mean, he gains 15, 18, maybe 20 feet in his first 2 strides towards second base. I remember watching Joe Morgan play for the Reds when I was a kid, and Joe would take 30 steps to go as far as Polanco did there in his first 2. I mean, equally successful stealing bases, but man, does he have some long strides.
Yeah, Joe Morgan would be like pistons on an engine, just pumping up and down, up and down. Polanco's got those long legs at 6'4", 220. Covers a lot of ground. Another look. Once again, Doug Eddings in perfect position. Can't get upset about that.
Another beautiful slide.
Well, he's a rookie.
Yeah, well, somebody's going to break their ankle or break their leg with one of those explosion slides into a base. You get one of those cleats caught on the front end of the bag when all your momentum's carrying you right across the base. You're going to roll right over on your ankle, and that's not going to be good.
Well, clearly Alan Campbell, the D-backs video coordinator, got a look at one angle that led him to believe that they had a case here to overturn the call. Let's take a look from up high now and see if we can see something. Tough.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
McCarthy will throw some pitches now and keep that arm loose.
It was a great throw by Miggy. It was a great tag by Didi. Caught that ball and quickly slapped it down on the leg of Polanco as he was steaming by.
So the Diamondback position players watching the scoreboard here at PNC Park for the replays while McCarthy throws a pitch or two. A long look at New York.
Generally, when it takes this long, it means they haven't seen an angle that makes them want to reverse the call.
Clear and convincing evidence that the call on the field was incorrect. That's what they need.
You know, we were talking about Russell Martin framing pitches, and Didi in effect did the same thing. He got his glove above the throw so that when he caught the ball, his glove was already moving down toward Polanco's leg.
Was it Chris Spire used to say did that really well?
Oh man, he was the best. The best.
This is a long one here. Crew chief always has to be involved here. So there's Jim Joyce facing your camera there. Another look. Right there. Well, you can't see the front foot really.
Can't really see the foot because Didi's foot and the umpire were kind of blocking the view of the base.
Is the equipment working in New York?
Is anybody home? You've reached BAM headquarters. We can't get to the phone right now.
Your call is very important to us. 3.5 minutes we're told right now, and still going. And it looks like we are done, and the ruling is out. Ooh. He is out at second. So the Diamondbacks win the challenge, and the call on the field is overturned. Excellent challenge there by Alan Campbell, the D-backs video coordinator, who once again made the correct call, and that'll end the inning. Polanco caught stealing. It's 2-0 Pirates. Field July 7th through the 9th next week as the D-backs host the Miami Marlins. And if your idea of a perfect game includes unlimited hot dogs, peanuts, popcorn, soda, and more, check out our all-you-can-eat seats. That's on the diamond level at Chase Field. We'll get a great view of the action, surrounded by all your traditional ballpark favorites, and all you can eat. For tickets, visit dbacks.com/AYCE. All you can eat. That's right in your wheelhouse.
Oh, yeah.
Nice work. Vance Worley has not allowed a hit through 5, and Didi Gregorius leads off the 6th for the D-backs. Gregorius, McCarthy, Inciarte. 8, 9, and 1 scheduled in the 6th. Worley tonight retired the first 12 he faced. He was perfect through 4. Walked Miguel Montero to lead off the 5th. And he's behind on Gregorius 2-0. A tremendous job there by the Diamondbacks video staff and Alan Campbell. They are now 8 of 17 now on challenges this season. Over 300 calls have been overturned in the major leagues this year. So from that standpoint, it's hard to argue that replay is not working.
And there have been other calls that were not overturned because the team had used their challenge unsuccessfully. And then one of those close plays later in the ballgame, we saw it happen against the Giants earlier this year.
Bruce Bochy, yeah. Very early in the season. And Joe Torre has told managers, think of your challenge as an extra guy on your bench, an extra pinch hitter, extra resource in your pocket. Knowing when to use it is part of the job. He did not go, says Marvin Hudson. And Gregorius walks. Second walk issued by Vance Worley. Now we'll see if once again a D-backs pitcher can get a bunt down. Here's McCarthy. Ball is foul. Vance Worley making his 4th start for the Pirates. In his previous 3, he walked a total of just 3 batters. He's walked 2 so far tonight, but has yet to give up a hit. 0-2. McCarthy gets it down. Russell Martin has one play, and Gregorius advances. Well done by Brandon McCarthy there.
We were talking about Russell Martin and his ability to make borderline pitches look better than they really are. Just a couple of examples here we pulled from tonight's ball game. Very subtle movement. He gets outside the ball so that when he's receiving it, his glove is always moving back toward the middle of the plate. He sets up off the outside corner, and as he's receiving the ball, he's moving the glove so when he catches it, he locks it in right there and gets those borderline calls.
Ender Inciarte 0-2. He lined one to Neil Walker at second his last time up. There is a smoothness to Martin back there. You're right.
Came up originally as a third baseman. That could have something to do with it. A lot of times when you take converted infielders and put them behind the plate, they've got those soft hands already from fielding ground balls, and they just take it right behind the plate with them.
Played third base at Chipola Junior College in Florida. That's the same place where Patrick Corbin pitched. And Martin was picked by the Dodgers in the 17th round of the 2002 draft. 2-0 to Inciarte. In there for a strike, 2-1. Ender 1 for 12 in the series. Shoots it the other way. This might get the run home. Here comes Gregorius, and the Diamondbacks are on the board. First base hit tonight goes to Ender Inciarte, and it's a 2-1 ball game. Just kind of died out there in shallow left, and Gregorius scored easily.
Soft line drive. Martin sets up inside. That pitch strays up and out over the plate. Nice job of hitting that time by Ender. Just stay on it. Jordy Mercer was shaded up the middle of the field and dunks that one into left for the first hit and first RBI of the game.
David Peralta. So a walk, sacrifice bunt by McCarthy, and an RBI single by Ender Inciarte. It made it a 2-1 ball game. Peralta 0 for 2. It is something to stand behind the cage and watch David Peralta take batting practice. You see the strength and the quickness in the hands. He was just hitting lasers off that scoreboard in right field. Russell Martin out there to sort of hit the reset button as Worley walked Montero to lead off the fifth. He's given up a walk and a single here in the sixth after retiring the first 12 he faced, so he's hit a little bump in the road here.
Could possibly have something to do with getting him into the stretch for an extended period of time. He's been basically pitching out of the windup except for that leadoff walk in the fifth inning.
2-0 is hit to right. Polanco looking up, and that ball is gone, a home run. David Peralta, that's his third. He took it out of here, and the Diamondbacks have a 3-2 lead.
About that, bad meeting.
That's what he was doing in batting practice, and he does it in the ball game for his third major league homer.
No doubt that ball was hit right on the button. The only question was it high enough to get over that 21-foot wall in right field? David thought so. He kind of posed on that ball a little bit at home plate. Polanco just turned and was ready to play a carom off the scoreboard.
Goldie lifts that in the air to right center field, and that ball will bounce off the wall. Paul Goldschmidt in his second, and that is double number 30 on the year for Goldie. 3 hits in the inning. Worley had not given up a base hit all night coming into the 6th.
But for whatever reason, when a pitcher loses a no-hitter, it seems to go real quickly after that. And we talked about it with Randy Johnson's perfect game in Atlanta. I was always concerned that if he gives up that first hit, are we going to be able to get a reliever up quickly enough if we need to? Fortunately, it didn't come to that. But Worley gave up the base hit to Ender Inciarte, and now a couple of real well-struck balls give the Diamondbacks the lead.
Miguel Montero walked to break up the perfect game when he opened up the 5th. A walk to Gregorius, a bunt by McCarthy. Inciarte singled home the first D-back run. A 2-run homer by Peralta. And a double by Goldie. 3 straight hits. And now Montero's down 0-2. Called strike 3. 4 strikeouts for Worley. 2 down in the 6th. E.J. Rayburn. Miggy doesn't agree. Look at Russell Martin.
There's another one. Pitch was a little bit off that inside corner, but Martin able to keep most of the catcher's mitt in the strike zone.
All 4 of Worley's strikeouts have been looking. Aaron Hill. Ball 1.
One more run wouldn't hurt anything.
Diamondbacks have scored 1 or 2 in 6 of their last 8, but they put 3 on the board here in the 6th. That one right behind Glenn Sherlock.
Did you see Miley giving Peralta a hard time? He was judging from his body language and his hand signs there that the ball skipped off the top of the fence, barely got out.
It was very close. That fence 21 feet high.
Oh, that made it way up into the front row.
Hit it by at least 3 or 4 inches. Called strike 2. It was enough. That guy can hit some rockets. He has shown the ability to barrel up a ball, and when he does, it goes.
By the time we get on the plane to Atlanta, it'll be a 500-foot blast into the river.
Didn't get the baseball back. It just floated away. Aaron Hill strikes out. 5 strikeouts for Worley, but the Diamondbacks get 3 runs in the 6th, 2 of them on David Peralta's 3rd major league homer, and it's 3-2 D-backs. chance to sweep the D-backs tonight, but Arizona puts up a 3 spot in support of Brandon McCarthy, who's back out there for the 6th. He'll face Neil Walker, Russell Martin, and Ike Davis 4, 5, and 6 for the Pirates. Walker doubled and scored his last time. He was up there when Gregory Polanco was thrown out trying to steal second on a call that was overturned. Diamondbacks challenged and won the challenge. So they still have that in their back pocket. Line to Didi. It's short. 1 away. Here's Russell Martin. Martin has grounded out and singled 1 for 2. He's hit in 4 straight. This is a guy that has had some hamstring issues this year. Missed most of May with a hamstring injury. And he's done pretty well since he came off the DL 30 games back. He's at .295. There's the strike, 0-1. Oliver Perez, the former Pirate, loosening up for the Diamondbacks with McCarthy approaching 100 pitches. And the results and the numbers haven't always been there for Brandon this year. He says he feels like he's thrown so much better than the numbers look because he feels so much stronger. And he knows the book on his season is not over yet here on July 3rd, certainly. He says it could just be part of his journey this year. There could still be a rainbow at the end of this thing where it all turns out well. He likes where he's at right now. Not the results per se, but where he's at physically and his potential to keep getting better. And he strikes out Martin there. 6 strikeouts for Brandon. 2 down in the 6th. He pitches like this. I mean, he's not anxious to leave the Diamondbacks by any stretch. He likes it here and would be very happy to stay. But if he pitches like this over the course of the second half of the season, he's right. His season is defined in a whole new picture.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's one thing to say, you know, I feel good and I'm throwing better than my numbers indicate. But, you know, a lot of people are going to need to see the numbers. They're going to need to see some results.
He has never been healthy in his career, not this healthy. And part of the equation for his season this year is the fact he's taken the ball every 5th day. He's made all 17 starts and he's never thrown harder. His velocity is significantly increased as a result of that strength program to avoid the shoulder injury. And the strikeout to walk ratio is just about as good as it's ever been. 2-1.
When you go back to the 2011 season, he threw 170 innings, which was the most in his career. Then in 2012, it was only 111. Last year, 135 because of the injury, spending time on the disabled list. This year, he's up to 104 innings pitched already.
It was the off-season program. For the first time in a long time, he had no restrictions this winter. That was a big part of it, too. He could do anything he wanted in terms of the preparations. Hasn't always been able to do that. He loses Davis to a 2-out walk. Now he got a personal trainer, and he went against the old axiom that pitchers shouldn't lift weights. He did a lot of upper body weightlifting, Brandon, this winter. He said he got everything baseball strong as always, but he really tried to grow into a stronger upper body. Kirk Gibson glancing out down to that bullpen to see if Perez is ready. You got Alvarez coming up, and this is the spot to go to the left-hander. That's what Gibby will do here. I mean, McCarthy was always this frail, skinny guy, but this year, a lot more strength, a lot more hop on what is now a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. First time he's ever had that. And another good effort tonight. He leaves leading the ball game 3-2 back after this. Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you in part by your local Lexus dealers and by Chaz Roberts Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Choose Chaz. Sun setting in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Diamondbacks lead the Pirates 3-2 with 2 outs in the 6th, and a pitching change for the D-backs. Brandon McCarthy exits and gives way to the former Pirate. It's the left-hander Oliver Perez. When he was here in Pittsburgh back in 04-05 or so, he was a starting pitcher. He went 12-10 one year, and another year went 2-10 before he was a Met. But he says he has good memories here and is happy to be back. And he inherits now a base runner and Ike Davis at first with 2 outs, trying to get out of this inning for Brandon McCarthy and strand that 2-out walk. Pedro Alvarez, the left-hand hitter, was scheduled up. But as soon as Kirk Gibson went to the bullpen to bring in his left-hander, Clint Hurdle went to the bench and brought in the right-hand hitting Josh Harrison to take the at-bat for Alvarez.
Once again, an easy move for Clint Hurdle. Harrison will just stay in and play third base. Gabby Sanchez, 2 for 3 lifetime with a homer against Oliver Perez, but that would involve some maneuvering.
First pitch swinging, rolled to short. They go the short way, and Oliver Perez comes in, throws 1 pitch, and ends the 6th. And it ends with the Diamondbacks and Brandon McCarthy leading 3-2.
He's going to be starting for the National League at first base. He's earned it. He's done it the right way. I think beyond the outpouring of support that he's received from our fans, that the people have had an opportunity to watch him around the league, and whether it's on TV or they've been down to the ballpark, they understand who Paul Goldschmidt is.
Steve and Bob, that's our Geico quote of the game, just to remind people. And then we got a tight game, but the polls are still open, as they say. And I don't know about you guys, but I still think the Mark Reynolds ascension to number 2, a bit of a mirage because of the Milwaukee Brewers' negative ad campaign against the St. Louis Cardinals. I still think the Adrian Gonzalez fan base is still out there, potentially engaged, and that's a pretty big group of people. Keep going.
Polls close at 9 o'clock back home in the great state of Arizona. So vote Goldie. It's your duty as an American. Under 3 hours to go. Thank you, Todd. Yeah, the Brewers came up with a great ad campaign. Nick Evans leads off, the 7th against Vance Worley. Brewers had some spots produced for some of their players, and they were all it was kind of a takeoff on political attack ads. And it would say things like, do you really want another St. Louis Cardinal starting in an All-Star game? Vote Brewers, or vote Jonathan Lucroy, vote Mark Reynolds, because after all, he's not a Cardinal. Worley rings up Evans, 3 straight strikeouts for the Pirate pitcher. And Russell Martin frames another beauty.
Way off that outside corner, he sets up. I talked about this, I believe, maybe last year. When you're catching a pitcher who really has good command and doesn't have a lot of extraordinary movement at the end of his deliveries. Pitch on the outside part of the plate to a right-hander, you can actually catch it up in the webbing of your glove to give the illusion that your glove is in the strike zone.
Marte near the track. Roger Kieschnick flies out.
You can do the same thing on the other side of the plate. A pitch away from a left-handed hitter, you can catch it down near the heel of the catcher's glove and leave the rest of your mitt in the strike zone. It's not easy to do when a guy's got a lot of movement, and especially late movement in the hitting zone. But you know, occasionally you'll get a guy that throws a very straight fastball and just a little bit off the corner, and you can make it look better just by where you catch it in the glove.
I told you that Vance Worley has an unusual knack for getting called strikes because of the way his stuff moves, and that combination with Martin behind the plate and the pitch framing and the glove work that Beebe has talked about. Worley has 6 strikeouts, 5 of them looking. A lot of called strike threes. He's now at 80 pitches in the ball game. 6 strikeouts. 1-0 on Didi Gregorius, who walked and scored his last time up.
Yeah, 13 of his 18 strikeouts this year have been looking, and for his career, 156 looking, 24 swinging. That's 55% called third strikes. The league average is only 24%.
It's amazing. Off the fist, and that one is dunked into left. Gregorius will think about it and stop halfway to second. Didi aboard for the second time tonight. That's just the 4th hit for the D-backs.
Didi busting it out of that batter's box to at least give himself the option of possibly trying to stretch that into a double. A little soft floater lands out there in shallow left center field, and any misplay by Marte at all, and he was going to be all the way around to second base.
And now with the pitcher spot to Gerardo Parra, not in the starting lineup tonight, comes off the bench and pinch hits. Parra 1 hit in the series, a 9th inning single Tuesday in the opener. Back in the starting lineup last night, went 0 for 5. Evan Marshall, the right-hander, works for the D-backs in the bullpen. Parra 254 on the year. He is 2 for his last 22. He did not start Tuesday's game. Cody Ross started that ball game against the left-hander Jeff Locke. Hitless last night, pinch hitting tonight. 1-1. There's no question that Gerardo Parra is scuffling a bit lately, trying to find it. Kind of reached that mid-season point where he's worn down a bit. Last 22 games hitting under 180. Two balls and 2 strikes. Bounces one in the hole. Harrison has it, and he throws him out. Stretch time at PNC. D-backs lead the Pirates 3-2.
behind the plate. A couple of caught stealing here in the ball game tonight. He struggled in the early going this season, but came out for a lot of early work with Glenn Sherlock, working on his footwork, working on his quick release. And he has really improved in gunning down opposing base stealers. He's thrown out 10 of his last 19. He's our APS Energy All-Star.
Always a high-energy guy, absolutely no question about that. And he's behind the plate for the new pitcher. It's rookie right-hander Evan Marshall on to work the 7th. They'll face Jordy Mercer to lead it off. Pitcher spot is due up next, and Travis Snyder is in the on-deck circle for the Pirates. Gerardo Parra remains in the game, takes over for Roger Kieschnick in right field. And that's it for Worley with the pinch hitter Snyder on deck. Finished with 6 strikeouts, gave up only 4 hits, but one of them a 2-run homer by David Peralta. And it's 3-2 D-backs as we start the home half of the 7th with strike 1 to Jordy Mercer, who's been a problem again. A double and a run scored in the 3rd. He was intentionally walked his last time up. Mercer reached base safely in all 4 plate appearances last night. 3 singles and a walk. That's a foul ball. Nick Evans over there at 3rd. Nick hasn't really been tested down there tonight. Got the very first ground ball of the ball game by Polanco in the home half of the 1st. Other than that, been kind of quiet for him. His first big league start at 3rd. He had played only 3 innings over there his entire big league career. 1-2 on Mercer. Take a look now at our Chevron upcoming pitching matchup. We are on an airplane right after the ball game, and we will head for Atlanta. 3 against the Braves. And our pitching matchup tomorrow, Josh Colmenter, Irvin Santana. Diamondback Live pregame show comes your way on Fox Sports Arizona tomorrow afternoon. Well, Jordy Mercer has had himself a terrific series. This is a guy that got off to a horrible start this year. He was hitting in the 150s in early May. By the end of May, he was still slogging his way through about 190 or so on May 28th, but since then he's hit nearly 300 over the last month. And he is staying alive against Marshall. Got him. 1 away in the 7th.
That's a good pitch to throw when you have a guy in swing mode. He's up there with 2 strikes, just swinging at everything, trying to foul it off, eventually try to put it in play. Throw him something out of the strike zone. See if you can't get him to chase that. Marshall with a good slider low and away out of the zone for strike 3.
Left-hand hitting Travis Snyder will hit for Worley, the pitcher. 228, 4 homers on the year. He's got 10 hits and 35 at bats as a pinch hitter this season. That's a 286 average. Includes a homer and 5 RBIs. One or one. Pittsburgh Pirates since May 2nd, best record in the major leagues, 34-22 since May the 2nd. 6 weeks ago, they were 8 games under 500. They came into tonight a season high 4 over 500. But trailing here 3-2. There's a strike, 2-2. Trailing those Brewers in the Central. Cardinals 5 back, Pirates 6, Reds 7. Yes, he went. 2 strikeouts for Marshall. And here's another look now at Gregory Polanco. An RBI ground out in the 3rd. He singled his last time up. 1 for 3. So, BB, we've had a couple of looks at Mr. Polanco here. Your thoughts?
I mean, good-looking player. Obviously has some tools and has everything you like to see in a major league ball player. I think a little time needs to elapse. Let the league get a good look at him. Try to find out where the weaknesses are. It's not always easy to spot him in a 3-game series, but he sure seems to be the total package.
He has reached safely in 20 of the 22 games in which he's played in the major leagues. You sound a little like Bill Parcells there. Let's not put him in Canton just yet.
Not yet. Let's not clear a plaque in Cooperstown quite yet. It's a tough game, you know. A lot of guys burst on the scene and full of talent, full of energy, enthusiasm, and then suddenly the opposing pitchers find a hole in your swing and they just pound away at it, and that rattles your confidence a little bit. Suddenly things are a lot tougher than they used to be, and guys sometimes don't develop into the players we think they're going to, but certainly all the signs are there that Polanco is going to be playing right field for Pittsburgh for a long time.
And we're getting a look at some of that plate discipline in this at bat that they've been so thrilled with here at this level. This is a patient kid, a very good understanding of his surroundings and his situation, and is willing to let the game come to him at the age of 22, something you don't see very often. And down and away here on 2-1. This is chopped to short. Didi Gregorius. Evan Marshall, 2 strikeouts and a ground ball. A 1-2-3 7th. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. It'll be Inciarte, Peralta, and Goldie in the 8th. D-backs lead it 3-2.
Is brought to you in part by Lone Butte Casino. You're in for more winning moments at Lone Butte Casino. And by Cox Communications. Bundle and save with Cox.
What a setting. PNC Park here in Pittsburgh, PA. D-backs lead the Pirates 3-2. Set for the 8th inning here, as the Diamondbacks try and Steal the series finale. Got a big hit from David Peralta. A 2-run homer in the 6th. Peralta will hit second in the inning against the new Pirate pitcher. This is the right-hander, Jared Hughes. Boy, some of these guys come out of this bullpen, BB. You look at their numbers and you go, wow, no wonder these guys have played so well lately.
The Shark Tank. Fastball slider combination from Hughes. Fastball sits in the low 90s.
Ender Inciarte. An RBI single and a run scored his last time up. Came in on the Peralta homer after driving in the first D-back run. In fact, he had the first hit tonight against Vance Worley, who was perfect through 4 and had a no-hitter through 5 1/3. Hughes behind 2-0. Ender Inciarte, first 19 games in the big leagues, 4 hits. But since he's had the chance to play nearly every day, now 26 hits over his last 26 games, including tonight. Looks at strike 1. Hold on there, Ender, 3-2. DJ Rayburn behind the plate.
Looked like it dotted that inside corner at the knees. Remember, it's when it crosses home plate, not when the catcher catches it.
Roll to second. Neil Walker from the outfield grass. 1 away. Our Chaz Roberts air conditioning cool play of the game came from David Peralta. This one just did clear that 21-foot high fence in right. His 3rd home run in the big leagues. A 2-run shot. Diamondbacks were down 2-1. That gave them a 3-2 lead, and that's our Chaz Roberts air conditioning cool play of the game. Ball is right to Dave McKay at first. So with the home run, Peralta now 4 for 10 in the series. He's hit safely in 4 straight games. And a couple of guys visiting Pittsburgh this week who had never seen David Peralta. They saw him down in the field and they asked me, who's that guy? He does tend to jump out at you, especially in batting practice. A ball and 2 strikes. Harden set up, down and away, but Hughes missed the glove, and it's 2-2. Lifts that one along the left field line. Long run for Starling Marte, and he runs out of room. That corner snuck up on him pretty quick.
Yeah, really changed his angle to the ball right there. Looked like he was going to come close to catching that fly ball down the left field line, but where the seats jut out very close to the foul line, he had to kind of maneuver around that corner, eliminating any chance of making a play.
But you look at these Pirates outfielders, Bob. These guys are athletes. If you go Marte and McCutchen and Polanco out there. It's full 3-2.
Well, especially in left and center, you better have athletic outfielders in this ballpark because there's a lot of ground to cover out there. 410 to that North Shore notch out there by the bullpens. Right field not so much with the short porch out there, but we know Polanco can run too.
And you got Polanco at 6'4", 220. You got Marte 6'1", 185. These guys could be football players. And then the little guy in McCutchen, 5'10", 190. Oh, by the way, the MVP. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Laces that into center for a 1-out single. Another 2-hit game for David Peralta. And as Paul Goldschmidt steps up, fans will remind you time is running out. Run! Vote for your 2014 MLB All-Star. You can help send Goldie to the All-Star game. Don't forget you can vote up to 35 times at dbacks.com. Vote exclusively at dbacks.com or on your mobile phone. Voting ends at 11:59 Eastern Time. So you've got a couple of hours and that's it. So we can lock this thing down and send Goldie to Minneapolis, where they'll play the All-Star game July 15th, only on Fox. There goes the runner. And he is out of there. Peralta caught stealing for the first time this year. Martin, who was the best in the business last season at throwing out base stealers, throws out Peralta. 2 down in the 8th.
Boy, no step at all that time from Russell Martin. The pitch was away from him. He just pivots on that right foot and throws. That's about as quick as you can unload a ball to second base. Peralta had himself a nice jump over there at first, but Russell Martin made up for it with that quick release and a strong throw right on the bag.
Led the majors in throwing out base runners last year. 2-0 to Goldie. Paul Goldschmidt, with his double in the 6th, has now reached base safely in 24 straight games, and on base percentage during that streak of exactly .500. And he gets nothing to hit there. Takes the 4-pitch walk. Let's take an updated look at the All-Star voting with the polls about to close. Oh, he's well ahead, more than 1 million votes ahead of Mark Reynolds of the Brewers. So hopefully we have this thing locked down. It's too close to call. You're not projecting no winner yet. With 0.5% of the votes in, we are projecting. Yeah. We don't operate like that. We wait till all precincts have reported. Can you imagine some fans, these fans in Milwaukee, stuffing ballots? I mean, oh.
Well, you know, it's a point for another day, but it brings up a good point. You know, what if? What if a team just overloaded? Every fan voted 1 million times, and their whole roster gets voted to the All-Star game. You know, that's not right. That's not right.
They say it is a popularity contest, but now, of course, we know that it counts. It decides home field, so you need to structure your team a certain way. You got to have, you know, swingmen type guys, lefties in the bullpen. You got to think of all those things. Andrew McCutchen leading all outfielders in the National League vote total. So he and Goldie should be both starting at Minneapolis July 15th on Fox.
I've always been a proponent that MLB should go to an All-Star game in the midseason like we have now, voted on by the players and coaches and managers. Those are the people who know who deserves to go to an All-Star game in a given year. And then have another All-Star game voted on by the fans, a popularity contest. It's the players you want to see in that All-Star game. Make it like the Pro Bowl in football. It doesn't mean anything.
Oh, no.
And all the money goes to a charity.
We don't need another Pro Bowl. No.
Well, you know, I'm just saying, if you want the fans to be involved in the voting, rather than have them vote for a game that determines home field advantage in the World Series, have that one picked by the players and managers and coaches, and then have another one at some point, maybe at the end of spring training, maybe right after the World Series is over, and donate all the proceeds to MLB charities. Everybody have a good time. You could goof around. You know, your re-entry rule. You could, you know, make it an exhibition.
And then what happens when somebody gets hurt?
Well, that's not my problem.
So you want Do you want 2 All-Star games?
Well,
are we playing them both at midseason?
No, that's what I said. One has to be like in spring training or after the season's over, the popularity contest one. If we're going to have the All-Star game determine home field, I just don't like the way it's picked right now.
I kind of like it. I'm in the vast minority, I understand. But home field in the World Series used to just be every other year, right?
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
They just alternated. So how is this worse than just basically flipping a coin? That's what I don't get.
Well,
I get it.
To be solved.
I get it if you're going to say, look, this is an important game now. It can't become a popularity contest because something is at stake. I get that argument. But then you get rid of the idea that you have to have every team represented. But how is this worse than just alternating every other year?
Well, at least.
There goes Goldie. And Montero strikes out. Puts out the fire on a heated All-Star game discussion. D-backs lead at 3-2. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. 8th inning here at PNC Park in Pittsburgh. Diamondbacks lead at 3-2. And here's what's coming up for Pittsburgh in the 8th inning. Marte, McCutchen, Walker. Andrew McCutchen will hit second in the inning. He's 1 for 3 tonight with a single. He has struck out twice. New pitcher for the Diamondbacks. The bullpen has been perfect so far. 4 batters and 4 outs. It's been Oliver Perez, Evan Marshall, and now it's time to get ziggy with it. Brad Ziegler.
He's a workhorse. Most appearances in the National League this season, most appearances in the National League last season, the most appearances in the National League since 2012.
And all of that with a 2.34 ERA. Defensive change for the Diamondbacks. Nick Evans comes out of the ball game, and Martin Prado comes off the bench to get in there at third. So Parra and Prado both out of the starting lineup, both out there defensively now in right field and third base respectively. Prado in on the edge of the grass for Starling Marte, who looks at strike one. Marte 1 for 3, a single in the third. At back to the mound. Well, Oliver Perez got the only batter he faced, Josh Harrison, on 1 pitch. Evan Marshall a 1-2-3 7th with 2 strikeouts. And now Ziegler retires Marte to open up the 8th. And here is the reigning NL MVP. Three for 10 in the series so far. And a pair of singles last night, 1 for 3 tonight. McCutchen has also struck out 5 times in the series. He's ahead 1-0. Diamondback bullpen trying to lock it down for Brandon McCarthy, who pitched a good ball game tonight. 2-1. Ziegler being careful here. He's behind 3-1. Neil Walker's on deck. Walker doubled and scored in the 4th. Bounce to short. Tough play for Gregorius. He's got no play. McCutchen's aboard. Would have been a tough play for Didi, moving toward the third base bag to go get that one.
It's amazing how quickly that bruised foot will heal when you've got a chance to get an infield hit. Andrew McCutchen busting it down the line that time. Even with a good throw from Didi, I don't know if they're able to get the Pirates center fielder over there at first base. Just couldn't find the handle that time.
He's the tying run at first with 1 out. Walker 1 for 3. 3 for 11 in the series. 272 on the year. Keep in mind with McCutchen on first base, a perfect 12 for 12 at his stolen base attempts this year, but hobbling a bit tonight after fouling that pitch off his foot late in last night's ball game.
Well, and Clint Hurdle is well aware of Brad Ziegler's ability to induce that double play grounder. You go back to the beginning of the 08 season, Brad Ziegler has forced the opposition to hit into 86 double plays. The next closest reliever in the National League is 64. I'm sure he would like to start Andrew McCutchen over there and try to stay out of that double play and keep the inning going, but with McCutchen's bad foot, also you got a left-handed hitter at the plate, maybe he's going to give him a chance to try to shoot that hole in the right side.
1-1. Walker has now hit safely in 6 straight games and 7 of his last 8. And the left-hand side is his power side. It's where he's hit 10 of his 11 home runs this year. McCutchen holds it first. That's fouled off. 1-2. Two balls and 2 strikes. Double play ball here. Aaron Hill will settle for 1. McCutchen in at second, 2 down. It seemed to be another case of the infielder kind of just running in the wrong direction at the wrong angle to try and make the play.
Yeah, that was going to be a very awkward double play attempt for Aaron Hill, tossing a backhand throw to Didi with the runner going by him right there. And decides just to take the sure out at first base. We say it all the time. A double play usually starts with a hard hit grounder, and that certainly wasn't a hard hit grounder.
Russell Martin 1 for 3, a single in the fourth. There's a strike, 0-1. Russell Martin has reached base safely in all 25 home games this year and 43 of his 47 games this season. One and one. How about that? Advantage Ziegler. Tying run at second, 2 outs. On a play. The Shark Tank. Ernesto Frieri just acquired from the Angels, along with Mark Melanson. Saw Melanson close out last night's ball game. Frieri pitched on Tuesday night. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Got him! Brad Ziegler strands the 1-out single and leaves the tying run at second base. Brad Ziegler gets the big strikeout and sends us to the 9th. D-backs have a 3-2 lead. River game summary. D-backs lead the Pirates 3-2, trying to get the series finale here and avoid the sweep. And the Diamondbacks did much of their damage in the 6th inning. All of it, in fact. A 3-run 6th. Didi Gregorius had a walk to lead off the inning, went to second on a Brandon McCarthy bunt, and scored on this Ender Inciarte RBI single. That made it 2-1 Pirates. And then David Peralta next up, a 2-run homer to make it 3-2. And that's where we stand in the 9th. And the new pitcher for the Pirates, the new Pirate. This is Ernesto Frieri, who wound up getting the victory, his first as a Pirate. He was the pitcher of record when Ike Davis hit the walk-off single Tuesday night, on for the 2nd time in the series.
Fastball slider combination from Frieri. Boy, you talk about the Diamondbacks scoring in that 6th inning of the ball game. They've only got 5 hits in the entire game, but 3 of them came in that 6th inning after the leadoff walk by Didi, the sac bunt, as we just showed you. Inciarte RBI, 2-run homer by Peralta, and then Goldie followed it up with a double to the gap in right center. 3 of the 5 hits came back to back to back.
Aaron Hill, Martin Prado in the pitcher spot. Due up here for the D-backs. Aaron Hill so far 0 for 3, struck out his last time up. I saw you were reading a funny story about Frieri before the ball game, right after his trade from the Angels.
Oh yeah, he was flying here to Pittsburgh to join the ball club and had to make a connection through Chicago at O'Hare Airport. Oh, just over the head.
Over the glove of Mercer, and Aaron Hill has a base hit to lead off the ninth.
Yeah, and Frieri had flown from Kansas City to Chicago and was waiting on his connecting flight, had some time to kill. He said he went to the restroom to freshen up a little bit, splashed some water in his face, and turns around and there's Jason Grilli standing in the same restroom at the airport in O'Hare, the guy he was traded for, who was flying from Pittsburgh to join the Angels. They'd never met before.
And at O'Hare, there's like 1 million bathrooms.
Yeah, they said there's over 100 restrooms in the 5 terminals there at O'Hare. I mean, that's freaky. That's just a freak occurrence right there.
That is weird, wild stuff. Martin Prado came in to take over at third for Nick Evans, his first at bat tonight. D-backs looking for an insurance run. There's strike 1. Martin Prado, 266, 3 homers, a pair of hits against the Pirates, 2 for 9 in the series so far. That had to be on. Aren't you Ernesto Frieri?
You look a lot like Jason Grilli. And they had the same message to each other. You're really going to like it. Good group of guys, good city. You're going to have fun. You're going to enjoy it. Good luck.
Wonder if he gave him the name of his barber. 0-1.
Well, the marketing people for Pittsburgh couldn't have been any too happy about trading Jason Grilli. I mentioned it last night. They actually sell a grilled cheese sandwich here at the ballpark after Jason Grilli.
His picture is on the side of the ballpark as you walk in.
Not for long.
Yeah. Such is the way of life here in the major leagues. 1-1. Aaron Hill takes off. Prado fouls that one back. Kirk Gibson starting the runner there.
I like that move. Martin Prado, as we've talked about at length recently, has been hitting a lot of ground balls, and with runners on base, many of those have turned into double plays. They get Aaron Hill in motion, open up a hole somewhere in the infield. There's already a big hole on the right side of the infield. We know Martin is capable of slashing the ball that direction.
Prado opened up the month of June with a 6-game hitting streak, and since that streak ended, he has hit under 200 over his last 21 games. He and Parr have both been scuffling a bit, both given the night off from the starting lineup, but both, as usual, end up in the ball game. Parra put into right field and Prado at third. And Prado is a terribly important bat to this lineup. When he produces, the D-backs win. It's that simple. And when he doesn't, they struggle. Two balls and 2 strikes. It's full.
Think back to last season when Martin was having such a hard time getting adjusted to his new environment, his new teammates, his new ballpark, and we took that trip to Atlanta.
Guess where we're going tonight?
And he was red hot after that.
But look at that. I mean, that's what he means to them. He hits .341 in games they win. He hits .211 in games they lose. Yeah, we went to Atlanta, then he wound up as National League Player of the Month for August. Aaron Hill running on the pitch again, and once again it's in the seats. Well, he talked about that. He was pretty candid. The trade from the Braves stunned him, frankly. The only organization he had ever known as a professional. But when he was there in Atlanta for that 3-game series last year, and he was part of the Chipper Jones retirement ceremony, it kind of gave him closure. It said it made him realize, look, this part of your career is over. You're a Diamondback now. Move on. And he did. He was sensational after the All-Star break last year. Here goes Aaron Hill again, and Prado lines it into center. Aaron Hill takes the turn and heads for third. First two have reached for the D-backs in the ninth. They're on the corners with no outs.
That had to feel good. Sometimes all it takes is one well-struck line drive to get your timing back, get that rhythm back at the plate, and that was a well-struck line drive. You see Jordy Mercer breaking to cover second base. I think that ball's well over his head anyway. And Aaron Hill moves all the way around to third.
And now Cody Ross with a pitcher spot due up 7th in the order. Will pinch hit. Cody had a pinch hit single last night in the ball game. 224 on the year. That's in the seats and out of play. Cody 5 for 17 as a pinch hitter this season. He has homered off Frieri. Cody just still 2 RBI shy of 500 for his career, so he's got a couple of ducks on the pond here in a 1-run ninth. And he lines it into left center. Aaron Hill will score to make it 4-2. Martin Prado will stop at third, and Cody Ross has an RBI double. 3 straight D-backs hits to open up the ninth, and it's 4-2.
Is that good to see? Cody Ross, following Martin Prado's line drive base hit, gets an extra base hit of his own, lining that ball into the gap in left center. Took a great play by McCutchen to keep that ball from rolling all the way to the wall.
If it does, Cody's got 500 RBIs. He'll settle for 499. It's a 2-run ball game now. Second and third, still nobody out. Conference time at the mound for the Pirates. Ray Searage, the pitching coach.
The Pirates have 2 lefties in the bullpen. The Diamondbacks have a string of 4 straight left-handed hitters making their way to the plate. And Frieri stays on.
Infield creeps in for Didi Gregorius, who has walked, singled, and scored a run. Can never have too many insurance runs against these Pirates. These guys have a knack for coming back, as we learned on Tuesday night. They have 20 comeback wins this year, Pittsburgh. 12 wins in their final at bat, and 8 walk-off wins, the most of the major leagues. So you can't add too many here in the ninth. A ball and a strike. Popped him up very shallow center. McCutchen, long run on that bad foot. He won't get there. Prado had to hold up. He will score 5-2. It's a bloop RBI for Didi Gregorius. I lost track, Bob, of how many plays we've seen like that in this series.
Because of the big outfield, a lot of times outfielders play deeper than they normally would. Possibly an excuse for why so many balls have dropped in between the infielders and outfielders. McCutchen closing quickly, but I think he was a little concerned about a possible collision there. Kind of pulled up the last 2 or 3 steps, allowed that one to drop in. And good base running by Martin Prado. That's a tough one to read right there. You don't know whether to tag up. If you tag up and McCutchen does catch the ball, you're probably not going to be able to score. So he went halfway. When the ball dropped, he was able to come on home.
First 4 D-backs have reached with base hits in the inning. Slow roller to third. Harrison will get the tag on Cody. Parr is safe at first, and that's the first out in the 9th. Brings up Ender and Ciarte. Ender had an RBI single and scored a run in that 3-run D-back 6th. Came in on the Peralta homer. 1 for 4. Gregorius at second, Parra at first. 2 runs in here in the 9th. There's a strike, 1-1. Ernesto Frieri having a tough inning here. This is about the way things went for him with the Angels this season, which is why the deal with Pittsburgh was made for Jason Grilli. He was 0-3 in 34 games with the Angels this year. Did have 11 saves. 2-1. Ender and Ciarte, who, like McCutchen, really fouled one off the ankle or foot last night and was hobbling around badly, does not seem to have had any ill effects from that tonight. Moving around okay out there.
I think that's a feather in the cap of Ken Crenshaw and Ryan DePanflo, the Diamondbacks' 2 trainers. Those guys are, I mean, we talk a lot about the players and the extra work that they get in and blah, 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 but those trainers are here every morning before a night game, giving treatment to the players, making sure they're ready to go every night, minimizing the time that guys are down, even if it's a day-to-day injury. Get them back on the field as quickly as you can, and those trainers, they work hard.
There's Ryan DePanflo. The equipment managers and the trainers always last 2 guys on the bus at the end of a road trip. And Ciarte lines that into right. Gregorius will stop at third. And you see why, the arm on Gregory Polanco. But the Diamondbacks have them loaded with 1 out.
Top spin line drive out there to right field on 1 hop to Polanco. All his momentum carrying him toward his target, and he throws it right on the baseline.
He is going to be something to watch. That's going to do it for Ernesto Frieri. Here comes Clint Hurdle. So the Diamondbacks, leading 3-2, have scored 2 in the 9th, and they have the bases loaded with 1 out, trying to pad that lead. We'll take a break. what Richard has come up with here for our AT&T fan photo of the game. Tonight's winner is Devin.
D-back Nation, homemade sign, obviously at the ballpark, smile on his face, wearing the team gear. That's a good one.
Thumbs up from Richard.
All right.
Out there with Oscar doing D-back Spanish language radio broadcast. And how about Devin's hashtag Twitter thing there? AZ Swagman.
There you go.
He's a winner tonight. 2 thumbs up from Chico. Nicely done. Jenmar Gomez, the new Pirate pitcher, his 25th appearance of the year. He has given up just 1 earned run in his last 13 1/3. He inherits a bases loaded 1-out mess here in the 9th. Didi Gregorius is the runner at 3rd. Gerardo Parra at 2nd. Ender Inciarte at 1st. 2 runs in. Bases full, 1 out, 5-2 D-backs. Here's David Peralta, who has homered and singled, 2 for 4. And he lines that to center field. McCutchen coming in, and that one is going to drop as well. Gregorius scores. Parra right behind, and the Diamondbacks take a 7-2 lead. A 3-hit night for David Peralta. He's driven in 4. We've got 7 runs, Mr. Brenly.
You know what that means. Tacos for only the 4th time in the last 25 games. Feed me. Fiesta. Boy, and on that throw to the plate, it got away briefly from Russell Martin, and Ender Inciarte alertly advanced on to 3rd base.
Another one that just drops into no man's land. 2 more D-backs runs. It's turned into a 4-run 9th. And they're still going. 1st and 3rd, 1 out for Goldie. Strike 1. Goldie has doubled and walked 1 for 3. Six hits and 4 runs in the 9th for Arizona. Still only 1 out. One and 2. Addison Reed had been warming. Matt Stites now throwing in the D-backs bullpen. And Stites threw 19 pitches last night, gave up 2 runs on 3 hits, had a strikeout. 1 and 2 on Goldie. Don't forget, fans, vote Goldie. Time is running out. We got less than 2 hours now. Voting is announced on Sunday. Goldie leads Milwaukee's Mark Reynolds by more than 1 million votes and would be the 4th D-back voted to start the All-Star game, and the first since Gonzo in 01. 1 and 2. All-Star game July 15th from Target Field, Minneapolis. I had that somewhere. Where was it? Only on Fox.
There you go.
Found it.
It is a welcome sight for the Diamondbacks here tonight. You go back to last Tuesday against the Indians. They scored 9 runs. They've scored a total of 10 in the 6 games since.
Got 3 in the 6th and 4 here in the 9th. 2 and 2. It's full. Inciarte is the runner at third. Peralta at first. 3-2 to Goldie. Here goes Peralta. That one is lifted in the air to right field. Polanco at the track. And he won't get it. It's off the wall. Inciarte scores to make it 8-2. They will wave in Peralta. And Goldie heads for third. He's in there standing up. D-backs have scored 9 times.
Goldie staying right on a pitch, slider out over the plate and driving it hard to the opposite field. We're used to seeing him do that. Polanco kind of got turned around a little bit, misplayed that ball. Just over the glove. And Goldie never stops running.
7 hits in the inning for the Diamondbacks. They scored a triple to first this year for Goldie. Miguel Montero lines that into center. Goldschmidt scores, and it's double digits, 10-2 D-backs. All smiles for Sedona Red tonight.
Mickey finally gets on the bus. He had struck out a couple of times. He lined out to Ike Davis at first and walked back in that 5th inning, but his first hit of the game drives home Paul Goldschmidt.
And the D-backs have batted around. Aaron Hill opened up the 9th with a single. He scored a run. And he'll hit for the 2nd time in this inning. Still only 1 out. There's a strike. All 9 D-backs hitters in the inning have reached base. The only guy without a hit, Gerardo Parra, reached on a fielder's choice. Just a little roller to the mound. Gomez throws him out. Montero advances, and sarcastic applause from the fans here. 2 down. Martin Prado hits for the 2nd time in the inning. Brandon McCarthy's feeling pretty good right now. He's going to win back-to-back starts. A 7-run D-backs 9th. One and one. David Peralta, 4 RBIs tonight, a 2-run homer in the 6th, 2-run single here in the 9th. He's 3 for 5 tonight. The home run in the 6th is 3rd of the year. One and 2 now. Along the right field line, Polanco gives it a look, but it's in the seats. This is there, 2-2. Does not get the call from DJ Rayburn. Little flare to second base. Neil Walker, and the ninth inning finally ends. D-backs send 11 to the plate in the inning. They get 7 runs on 8 hits. 2 more RBIs for Peralta. And as we go to the bottom of the ninth in Pittsburgh, it's 10-2 D-backs. And Saturday, a full day of MLB action begins with the Diamondbacks taking on the Braves. That game will be on Fox Sports 1, so mark that down. That is Saturday, Fox Sports 1 for D-backs and Braves. Then as part of our Saturday doubleheader, it's Baseball Night in America on Fox, Giants and Padres. The double dip begins Saturday, 12:30 on Fox Sports 1 and continues at 4 on Fox. D-back Nation here in Pittsburgh, PA. A 7-run ninth has made it 10-2. So something for fans to cheer about here in the series finale. Some Pirates still happy here, though. Either that or the production of the high school play just broke up. Matt Stites out there with a nice big lead, his 8th appearance.
Number 7 came in last night's ball game, pitched an inning, gave up 3 hits, a couple of runs. He did strike out a batter.
So the ERA for Matt at 2.84. What have you seen from Matt Stites so far? A guy figures to be a big part of the bullpen moving forward here in years to come.
Well, no doubt he's got a big arm. I mean, last night was a perfect example of that. He got a little frustrated, a little mad, and just reared back and started pounding 98-mile-an-hour fastballs on the outside corner. His command has been a little bit sketchy. His secondary pitch is a little bit sketchy, but you know, a lot to work with right there. You really got to love the fastball from this young man.
The headline is going to be the big ninth inning and the 10-2 score here if it finishes as such. But the Diamondback bullpen tonight, Perez, Marshall, and Ziegler, outstanding in what was a one-run ball game. Ike Davis leads off the ninth for the Pirates. He has singled and walked. He's driven in a run. Davis, Harrison, and Mercer 6, 7, and 8 in the Pittsburgh ninth. One and two. Johnny Depp in the house. Actually doesn't look all that different from Captain Jack Sparrow. The guy in the right, I mean, not the. Yeah. Popped up third base side. Prado wants it in fair territory. One down. It's going to be all about the offense when you read about this ball game, and we talked about the bullpen. It's also one of the storylines here, though, is going to be about Brandon McCarthy. He pitched another solid ball game tonight, in line for his second win in 2 starts, and there had to be a point earlier this year where Brandon thought that would never happen.
Well, if he continues to throw the ball the way he has his last couple of times out there, he's going to get his share of victories.
Josh Harrison. McCarthy tonight 2 runs on 8 hits in 5 2/3. He walked 2 and struck out 6.
And one of the 2 walks was an intentional pass to Jordy Mercer, the 8-hitter, to get Vance Worley, the pitcher, up there, and he promptly struck him out to end the inning.
97 from Stites, throwing hard again. 1-1. So early birthday present for Brandon McCarthy, who turns 31 years old in 4 days. And a second straight victory with 2 more outs in this one. But some work still to do. Ender and Ciarte will watch that drop in front. Harrison has a 1-out hit. Brings up Jordy Mercer, the shortstop. Doubled and scored in the 3rd, walked in the 4th. Harrison will take second base on defensive indifference. Pitcher spot is due up next. Looks like Gabby Sanchez in the on-deck circle for the Pirates. Back with you tomorrow on Fox Sports Arizona. First of 3 games against the Atlanta Braves from Turner Field. Diamondbacks will hop on a plane right after this ball game. So we come your way at 4 o'clock back home in the great state of Arizona. Don't forget Saturday's game on Fox Sports 1. And then we are back with you on Fox Sports Arizona on Sunday. Check your local listings. 3-0. didn't want to do that.
No. I'm sure that was part of the reason Miggy ran out to the mound to have a quick word with Matt Stites. Hey, take a look at the scoreboard. All you got to do is throw strikes right now. Let your defense work behind you. The worst thing you can do is put runners on base and give the Pirates an opportunity to feel like they have some momentum to crawl back into this game.
Well, Gabby Sanchez is the guy that can make things a little more problematic with one swing. An effective pinch hitter for Clint Hurdle this year, 9 for 29. That's a .310 average. It includes 5 doubles and a homer. He's got 6 pinch hit RBIs this season. Lines that to center. Right to Ender Inciarte. 2 down.
Perfect example right there. You throw strikes, good things could happen. That ball was hit right on the button, but you've got a defender out there. Turns it into an out. Ball was scalded. Fastball out over the plate. You mentioned Sanchez, a guy that can turn the ball around in a hurry. Really good fastball hitter. Ender Inciarte right there.
Well, we'll get one more look at Gregory Polanco before we leave town. 2 on, 2 out, 10-2 in the 9th. Polanco an RBI ground out in the 3rd. He singled in the 5th, 1 for 4. Well, the more you watch Polanco, the more you see Devon White up there, especially with that number 25 on. His long legs. Harrison at second, Mercer at first. 0-2. D-backs tonight trying to avoid their first sweep here at PNC since September of 2010. And the Pirates, who won the first 2 games of this series, had a 2-0 lead tonight. We're going for their first series sweep this year, and they apparently will not get it. Diamondbacks win it. Stites strikes out Polanco to wrap this up. It's a 10-2 D-backs win. They get 3 in the 6th and 7 in the 9th. And they salvage the series finale here in Pittsburgh.
Boy, and you sure hope that the offensive outburst here in a couple of innings tonight will carry over to that Atlanta series. Diamondbacks have had trouble scoring runs. Hopefully some hard hit balls, some line drives, some RBIs will carry over.
And the last and only time in his Diamondbacks career that Brandon McCarthy has won back-to-back decisions, May 18th and 24th of last year. He was outstanding in his previous start at San Diego, and he wins for the 2nd time on this road trip, giving up 2 runs on 8 hits in 5 2/3 to get the win here tonight. Much more from Pittsburgh. Diamondback Live postgame show comes your way right after this break. The D-backs get some quality pitching. They turn in some good defense and a whole lot of offense. 10 runs on 13 hits. It's a 10-2 D-backs win. We'll have more from PNC Park right after this.